Hi everybody, welcome to my vinyl and CD collection update number 6. I've got a big old pile of vinyl here and a big old pile of CDs here that I've bought over the last 2 or 3 months. We're going to take a leisurely trip through them and see what's here. So I've had a bit of a rearrange since my last video. Hope that's looking okay back there, but I'm going to start off with things that I've already done videos for, so just very quickly, just so I don't forget them. There was the new Bob Dylan album, Rough and Rowdy Ways. I did an unboxing video for that. There's a link up there for that. There was the Flaming Pie Paul McCartney Archive Collection 3 vinyl edition. I did an unboxing for that as well. And as well, of course, there was the Deluxe edition over there. I've done a big video about that. I don't need to talk about that again. So there's some links if you want to go and look at those anyway. So what else have I got over the last few months? Well, we've got, I'll do a few vinyl first. First of all, this is Public Service Broadcasting, The Race for Space. This is an album from about sort of 4 years ago roughly, and it was one of my favourite albums of the last decade. It tells the story of the Apollo moon landings and how they got to that point, and it uses sort of actual NASA recordings, mission control recordings mixed with music, and it's a real great experience if anybody's got any interest in the sort of space race of the 60s and early 70s, and that's a great album to have a listen to. All of this stuff, apart from one, which I will explain why in a bit, I've got links in the description for if you want to buy any of this stuff. I've got links down there where you can do that. Next up, it's Pixies and Surfer Rosa. So this is an album that I got to only probably about 3 or 4 years ago and really enjoyed it. Had it on CD but picked it up on vinyl, and there's just some sort of great American rock on there that I mean, that must have been massively influential for what followed a few years later with grunge and such like. So yeah, really nice album there. This one, points for anybody who can guess what that is just from looking at the cover. This is Music Complete by New Order. Again, this is an album from about 3 or 4 years ago. I've heard it once, and I was looking out for a good price for this, but there's some really good stuff on there, sort of classic British Manchester dance music on there. Great song called Plastic on that one. And in a similar vein, the precursor to New Order, Joy Division, their second album, Closer. I got that for I've mentioned a few times on my live streams about these Twitter listening parties run by Tim Burgess of the Charlatans. This was one, I got this vinyl in advance of doing one of those listening parties for this album, where you listen along with the artists themselves commenting on the album in real time as you go through. But yeah, brilliant album from Joy Division, their last one before their unfortunate demise as a band. So this is the next one that I haven't put a link for because, well, I don't know where you'll get it, but this is one of the holy grails of my collection now. Hallelujah. So I already had Pet Sounds on vinyl, the 50th anniversary stereo one, but this was one that I'd heard so much good about. This is the Analog Productions. Now, I was absolutely certain that I'd ordered the mono version of the album, and when it arrived, I was quite taken aback to see that word there. So I quickly went onto the page where I ordered it from, and it was very clearly stereo. I just completely messed it up. So I'll give it a chance, and it's amazing. One of the greatest things I've heard come through my stereo system. One of the greatest albums of all time, in my opinion, sounding better than I've ever heard it. If you can get hold of one of these analog production versions of the album, then you are in for an absolute treat. I guarantee you that. Let's do a few CDs, shall we? Come back to more vinyl later. Let's just do a few CDs now. So I got this box set of ABBA albums. So this was based on a video that James Griffiths did probably about 3 months ago, something like that, where he was doing a review of one of the early ABBA albums, and it prompted me to think, you know, I know all the singles, I know all the great hits that they did, but I didn't really know many of the album tracks. So this box, let's just show you. This has got, I mean, it's fairly no frills packaging, but you know, it's the music that's the main thing, but you've got all the albums there. So I thought that was a good one to get, because I think I'm going to discover quite a lot of great ABBA songs that I didn't really know because I've never owned the studio albums before. So I've started working my way through that first 2 or 3 albums, and all going very nicely so far. I also got Joan Baez's Diamonds and Rust. I mean, this was crazy, couple of pounds or something off Amazon. This was. I love the title track, Diamonds and Rust. It's a song I've known for probably about 10 years or so. Fantastic song. There's a great version of Bob Dylan's Simple Twist of Fate on here as well. And there's a song, I didn't know the album in full, but there's a song in here called Dida, next to last song. And the first sort of 10 seconds I thought, oh, I'm going to like this. After 30 seconds, I'd completely heard enough of it, and it was driving me mad after about a minute. But it was one of those that at first you think, oh, this is going to be good, and no, it was absolutely infuriating. But Diamonds and Rust, it's worth it just for the title track alone, I think. Fantastic song that is. Back on that Joy Division / New Order theme from before, this is beat up and old and in a bit of a state. I think this is like an original 1987 double CD New Order substance. It's got singles, because they had a lot of singles that weren't on albums. It's got B-sides and a few other bits and pieces on, but it's a bit of a classic compilation. I thought it was about time I got that. Around the same time as their predecessors, Joy Division. This is a good one, the best of Joy Division. I'm liking this because, well, it's sort of, there's A-sides, B-sides, things that you might not have on the albums, but also there's a second disc, the John Peel sessions. So you've got live BBC sessions here of Joy Division, which is a great thing to have. So that was really nice. Again, it was only about £5 or something like that, so well worth getting hold of. I've got 3 more CDs there. I'm going to come back to those, and there's a bit of a story here for regular viewers to my channel who will know that there's a particular person who I've neglected in the past. I'm starting to put that right, and we'll come back to that in a moment. So let's go back to the vinyl. I've had a bit of a splurge of a particular person here, vinyl. So I didn't own any David Bowie vinyl, but I've got a few now. So Scary Monsters, early 80s album, probably my favourite album of that kind of period. Certainly there was nothing really after it that grabbed me as much as this. I think Let's Dance the one after this, I think, which I like, but not as much as this. So that's this sort of kind of is my cut-off point, really. Of I'm been listening to a lot of Bowie lately, up right through the 70s, early 80s, and I sort of go about as far as here, Let's Dance, and I've not really gone much further yet. So that was nice to get hold of. As was, going back a little bit further, Lodger. I really like Lodger. It's crazy. It's a crazy album. Lots of madness on it, but it's a real good listen. I find this one, I don't know why, but if I go out walking and I'm going to put music on in headphones, I find this a really good album to listen to while I'm walking. Strange, but there you go. Sticking with Bowie, Heroes. Getting into that classic Berlin period now. So, I mean, this album for me, it's all about the mood and the vibe, as a lot of that Berlin era stuff was. But that's, I mean, it's not an album, apart from the title song Heroes, it's not one where I would think that it's like, I wouldn't pick out individual songs and say, oh, they're my favourite Bowie songs. But overall, it's a real sort of good flow of an album to listen to overall. And I probably have a fairly similar opinion of Low. Sound and Vision is one of my favourite David Bowie songs, absolutely. And then other ones, I mean, like Be My Wife is a great song, Speed of Life, etc. And that side B, it's a journey. It's side B. Oh my goodness! And I'm still learning a lot about these Bowie albums from the 70s. But such an interesting listen to, and you think this is a guy who was really sort of operating on a bit of a different level to almost everybody else. This is a bit more than it looks on first glance, the Bowie Diamond Dogs. Let me just get this one out for you, because this is a very nice looking one. You ready for this? Oh, look at that. I think this will be a good one for my video thumbnail. We got that? Yeah, okay. But yeah, Diamond Dogs, beautiful looking album there, and sounds very nice as well. I'll put that back in my time, not yours. we'll come to that later. Let's finish off the vinyl, shall we? And then we'll go to those last few CDs. The last Bowie one for me, which I just picked up last weekend. Young Americans. I haven't opened this yet. I have never heard this album in any shape or form. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to do that very, very soon. But I saw it on a deal with one of the albums that's about to come. And I thought, yeah, I can go for that. So this was a bit of a gap for me between the sort of classic early to mid-70s Bowie era and the Berlin trilogy. This was sort of one of the missing links for me, really. So really looking forward to having a listen to that. The other one that I got on that deal with that is Dire Straits Making Movies. I would say this is probably my least favourite Dire Straits album. Hence, it's one of the last for me to get on vinyl. But it has got on it, it's got Romeo and Juliet on it, which is brilliant. Tunnel of Love. Overall, though, not my favourite Dire Straits album, but it's a Bernie Grundman, Chris Bellman production. It's going to sound nice, is that. The last vinyl that I've got to cover here, that I've bought just recently, it's another Dire Straits. On Every Street. So this was their last studio album from the early 90s. And I've always really liked this album. On CD, there's a couple of songs on here. There's You and Your Friend, and what was the other one? It was Fade to Black. Just on CD, two of the best sounding digital songs that I've got. So they sound really great on this as well. But up against it was always a really good sounding CD. But yeah, On Every Street, that is really nice sounding. Again, it's a Bernie Grundman and Chris Bellman, so it's a bit of a guarantee of quality there. So that's the vinyl I've been getting lately. You've seen most of the CDs. So I've mentioned on various videos in the past about how I never had any Ringo albums at all. And then on my last live stream, I did a live unboxing of Ringo Starr, Bokus of Blues. So his second album, his second solo album from 1970. I'd finally picked that up. But that's not it. I've bought some more since then. I've got more Ringo. So I got What's My Name, which is pretty recent. When's that from? Oh, it's only last year, 2019. Now, I did enjoy this, but some of the auto-tune on Ringo's vocal is it's off-putting, shall we say. I found it. But you know, it's good tunes. He's enjoying himself, and I am delighted that Ringo's still enjoying himself at this age. So yeah, that was fun. But the other Ringo one that I got, I like to try and do things fairly chronologically if possible. So I thought I've got to go back to the beginning. I'd already heard this on Spotify, but I'd never owned it. So Sentimental Journey, his very first solo album from 1970, which he was making sort of in the very sort of before the official Beatles split. He was making this album. So there's, yeah, I do enjoy this very sort of traditional song. I forgot to mention actually on Bokus of Blues, there's a song called $15 Draw. Is it on there? Yeah, $15 Draw. Really love that song. That is a great one. And on this, you know, Sentimental Journey, Night of Day, I enjoy Whispering Grass. There's nothing here that I don't enjoy. It's not my normal style of music, but it was great to hear Ringo singing about what sort of he harked back to as a kid and the kind of music that he grew up on. So I'm getting into Ringo now. It's finally happened. I'll pick a few more Ringo ones up, maybe for the next video. But that's what I've been getting lately. If you've got any comments on any of these albums, let me know. Like I say, there's links in the description if you want to buy any of this stuff. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you again very soon. Goodbye.